Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be going over my yearly favorites, all of my favorites for the year of 2020. I thought about breaking these videos up and just doing palettes and then skin and but I couldn't. There's so many eyeshadow palettes, so I decided to just go with the usual, put them all into one video, and I will give you guys timestamps. So if you're curious about that, just check the description box and I will leave them there. I will also be doing a fails of 2020, and I'm going to break that down to 10. But this video is going to be a long one, so I am not going to drag this out. And also with that, I'm not going to drag out me speaking about these products. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible, but still tell you guys why I love them so much. And I'm starting with palettes. These are in no particular order, but I have to say that Charlotte Tilbury, she pretty much takes the cake, in my opinion, for the entire year. I feel like she has put out so many hits, especially with eyeshadow palettes, that I could have made an entire list just of Charlotte Tilbury. I just think that she has been absolutely killing it, knocking everything out of the park with her new formulas, just everything. I think they're incredible. And with that new formula, we have to talk about, again, Fire Rose. I am so sorry. I know that people are having a hard time getting their hands on this palette, and I understand why. I understand why. But what I don't understand is why this is a limited edition. This is one of the best palettes in quad form that she has put out. It is so incredible. I really wish that she would just go ahead and make this permanent, because it pairs so beautifully with one of my other favorites, which is Pillow Talk. Not only the Pillow Talk quad, but also the Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette. You guys knew this was going to be in here. I have talked about just about anything Pillow Talk from Charlotte over and over and over again, and this is no exception. I love this palette. I have used it so much, and I just can't get over these shades. It's the perfect pinky, slightly peachy, everyday with a pop of color in here palette. And these mattes are absolutely incredible. The metallics in here, I would say a little bit more on the medium side. Like, these are going to be really beautiful, but this one packs a punch. The new shade in here, this one right here, this can go in every, well, this formula, not this shade, but this formula can go in every palette from now on. It's incredible. It looks so wet and just blinding. It's like the highlight for your eyes. The really intense, just super metallic, smooth, beautiful goodness. That's all I can say. Actually, I could say so much more, but I won't. And then the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize. This is so many looks all in one. You can see the variety here. I know I just ranked all of my Charlotte Tilbury palettes, so I'm trying not to be too repetitive in what I say. I mean, come on, this palette is so gorgeous. I love that you have so many different looks. You have warm tones, cool tones, neutral tones, the reds, the maroon, the purple. There's so much in here. It really gives you a really good variety of looks. Moving on to Auntie Pat McGrath. There's two palettes that I want to talk about. The first one is not going to be a shock. I had to actually look and see when the Divine Rose, the original one, came out. I was like, do I talk about them both? I was confused. This is the Divine Rose 2, and I have this both in the regular packaging as well as the limited edition, because your girl has a problem. I can admit that I have a problem, and no, I don't want to fix it. This is the Divine Rose 2. This is the first palette that she's done with a, what does she call it? Does she call it the Trio Chrome? There's so many different names for multi-chrome now that I get them confused. Yeah, we're just gonna go with multi-chrome. I feel like that's a safe bet. It's this shade right here, which, can you, yeah, see that green and then pink? And she did a good job with it. She just doesn't let us down, does she? She truly doesn't. And then I love this shade. It's the perfect peach. Like, look at those together. And then you can take and add this beautiful pink right in the crease area. Oh, there you go. There's your look. This palette is so beautiful. I love the multi-chrome. I also love the shades that she chose to pair in here. And this really goes so beautifully with the original palette. And Pat McGrath's formula is definitely one of the absolute best in my personal opinion. The second palette I chose is the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity Interstellar Icon palette. Yes, I had to look at the box to get the entire name. This one just makes me so happy to look at. It is a sultry, just beautiful, beautiful palette. And I've actually gotten asked several times. I'm wearing the Wayne Goss Pearl Moonstone. I wanted to say Imperial Moonstone. Like, no, Imperial Topaz and Pearl Moonstone. This shade right here, let me just go ahead and swatch them side by side. I have a little bit of this on today. I actually have this and Imperial Topaz mixed on my eyes. This is the Celestial shade, and then this one I think is a little bit of a duochrome. So let me show you side by side. There's definitely, this one's more glittery, this one's a little bit more smooth, and this one has a slight like purple shift. Not sure if you guys can see that, but there are the side by side. I've gotten asked several times which palette to get, and I'm like, they're so different. They're so different. I mean, the closest thing is this blue, which I want to swatch one more time and drag it down my finger so you guys can hopefully see that purple just a little bit better. I'm assuming this is the shade that everyone is trying to figure out which one to get. Hopefully you guys can see. This one's a little bit more metallic. The other one is a little bit more on the glittery side. And this is gorgeous, but this is definitely a more dramatic palette overall. And this is a duplicate shade. I think this is Blue Blood. Still gorgeous. And then this one, it's kind of like that shade from Fire Rose. This one's so good. It's so good. Now I have blue all over my fingers. I am wearing the wrong color. Why did I choose to wear white today? Speaking of Wayne Goss though, I did decide to go with Imperial Topaz as my favorite of the two palettes that he has launched, and definitely a favorite for the year. I love the textures that he has chosen. I love that there's matte. I love the Celestial shade. I've got this one on the inner corner right here. I didn't put it on as heavily as I normally do. I tried to go a little softer, but then I started building and I was like, no, stop, don't do it. Step back, step back. But then we also have these beautiful satins that kind of remind me of the Surratt formula that I love so much. So this shade and this shade, I have both of those on my eyes today, and then this one, and then these two are mattes in the Celestial. I think he did an amazing job with these, and I love this one for its wearability. Now, I'm not going to wear the blue shade and the grays every single day, but I really like the two paired. If I had to pick, this is the one I wear the most. Natasha Denona. I again picked two palettes, one that I wear a little bit more often, and then one that I think is a little bit more special. The first one is the Mini Retro. Yes, I am still waiting for my larger version of this palette because I love it. I love it so much. I love the softer pink tones in here, the greens. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. It's like a little bit of color, but still natural. It's so pretty. And then if you want a lot more color, we have the Love palette. This is just beautiful. I love these purple tones in here, the pink tones. It's very Valentine's Day, which I think that's when it released. I didn't mean to make that a joke. But it's such a beautiful color story. It's not going to be one that is necessarily every day, but it pairs very well, and you can get everyday looks out of this one. I would take this shade right here, Soul, and then I would go in with some of these lighter shades, and if I wanted to add just like a little bit of depth, I would go in with one of these purples or even this shade here. And let me quickly swatch this silver, because this is a good silver. It's good. It's smooth. It's not too intense to where it's going to be really, really bright silver. It's a more smooth aluminum looking silver, which I really like. And then I really like the cream to matte formula. I call them the marker shades. There's something about them that I really, really enjoy. I think they blend out really nicely. They go on and they just saturate. Then you can pack a metallic on top of this and it grips it really, really nicely, and it makes it look just a little bit more intense. So if you put this all over your lid and then took one of the purples in here, it is like butter. The Love palette is a purple and pink palette, but the next palette from Viseart is what I would say is the best purple palette of the year, if not one of the best in my entire collection. The Viseart Violette palette. It is incredible. There's really only one shade in here that I'm not super in love with. I can definitely get it to work, but it's a little bit more sheer. It's going to add a little sparkle, but not a lot. It's this shade right here. I believe it's called Wink. Everything else is so amazing. Purple mattes are so hard to create, to get them to where they're not going to be patchy, to where they're going to blend and work well on their own. And these do. These are some of the best purples that I have encountered. And I love that you have the purples and then these neutral shades. It is so good. I remember looking at my eye after creating a look with this and just thinking, wow, that is one of the most blended looks that I have done. And I got a lot of comments saying that this was one of their favorite looks that they have seen me do. And I gotta say, it's Viseart. It's not me. It is Viseart. This is an incredible, incredible palette. The next two palettes are more on the natural side, and I adore them. This one was not something that I anticipated liking as much as I do, but I love it when that happens. When you think, okay, well, that's a pretty palette, but it's kind of boring. And then you end up absolutely loving it. This one right here, it's the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. I don't know what to say about this other than top drawer. Top drawer. This has everything in it for me. It has the neutrals, the cool, the warm, but it's not overly warm. I don't really enjoy the really orangey shades. I like warmth, but like the Sunset palette. I used to love those tones, but now I never pick up the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. This one has the warm shades that I like. It's a neutral warm, so it leans warm, but it's not overly so. And then it has the lighter shades as well as the depth. And then I love that the mattes are larger than the shimmers. It's the perfect color story, the perfect format, and I use the heck out of this palette. Then we have the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette. This is the tin version, but I believe that it is now in a cardboard version. This again, look at all these neutral, cool tones. These are just so pretty. And I love this blue in here and this green. So you have basically this whole side is more natural with the exception of the purple and then these. So you've got 4 shades to add a little bit of color, but then it's mostly an everyday wear palette. And there is a deep version to this as well. And then a little bit more sultry from Artist Couture, we have the Supreme Nude. This is what I consider to be warmer shades that I enjoy. This, the Imperial Topaz from Wayne Goss, they're just not overly orange or overly warm. These are warm tones. They're not the Sunset palette. That is what I'm getting at. These mattes are so beautiful. They blend themselves out just about. And they are creamy. You have no issues with them, no skipping, no muddying, no nothing. And then the shimmers are stunning. I'm going to quickly swatch these for you. I love this green. There you have it. It's a really beautiful, wearable, I think it's a little bit more sultry, but it's gorgeous. And I love the packaging. It's so sleek. The last palette is not only one of my favorite palettes of the year, I'm a little biased, just a little bit, but also one of the best experiences that I had this year. And it's the Tiny Marvels palette. It's my collaboration with Sydney Grace. Not only do I think that this palette came out exactly how I wanted it to, it truly, from the artwork on the outside, again, shout out to Pat Bennett at Red Nimbus Tattoo in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He is the one that designed this. He's also my tattoo artist. So this came out exactly how I wanted it. And then the inside, these shades. I love my neutrals. I love my pops of color. And this just, it truly did it for me. And my experience with Sydney Grace, they are an amazing company. Not only do they have an amazing formula, but they truly, truly, truly try to do right by their customers. And they are some of the best people that I've ever been blessed enough to not actually meet, but meet. You guys know what I mean. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the people who have supported this. It means the world to me. Now, with that, I do have one more product or products that I'm putting in with the palettes because they're for the eyes. I suppose I should have talked about these when I talked about Natasha Denona. So technically she has 3 because these are the Chromium Liquid Shadows Multi-Chromes. I'm just going to swatch a few of these. I have to swatch my favorite, which is, what is it? The Nude? Infra Nude. That's one of my favorites. I love this one. in for a nude. It's so pretty. These are so creamy. They feel kind of cold when you put them on in a very nice sensorial way, and they last all day. They don't crease. This one is ultraviolet, and this the purple. There we go. And then I also want to do the green one, and these truly do have a shift. Not all of them actually do. They'll be called a multi-chrome or trio chrome or whatever, all these chromes, but then some of them don't actually have a nice shift to them. These, they all do. I love them all. Now let's talk about cheeks. So everything that I would put on my cheeks, bronzer, blush, highlight, all of that, that is what we're going over now. There's only one bronzer that I want to talk about. I mean, it takes the cake. It truly does. I definitely bought other bronzers, but I've gone through an entire one of these and I am on my second one. This is disgusting. I think I have hairspray on the front of this. I have used this so much. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer, and I have the shade number 2. And we've got a fresh pan in here. How many of you saw me go through this? I was getting comments all the time like, Mel, how? I'm like, well, I have to go down my neck and around my ears. That's how. And then I'm constantly doing my makeup more than once because YouTube. This is just so good. It blends itself, basically. It just blends into the skin. It's the perfect color, not too warm, not too cool. Impeccable. It's impeccable. For blush, I actually forgot about the one that I'm wearing right now. I was so mad. I put it on my list and then it's going to go back into my drawer, and that's the reason why I forgot about it, because I took it out of my drawer and I was replacing things. This right here is from MAC, and it is the Glow Play Blush in So Natural. These are so pretty. They just buff into the skin. I like to take, let me get my brush. Right here, the 107, I take it, this is from BK Beauty, and I pick it up like so, get it on my brush, and then I start tapping it onto my skin and just buffing it in. It's kind of like a cream to powder, but it doesn't go to that, I don't know how to describe it. It's a putty type of formula. So if you want to have not cream, so not something or liquid that's going to be a little bit more, it's not difficult, but a little bit more difficult to blend into the skin, but you don't want it to be matte either. This is skin-like without it. It's not going to accentuate anything. Like, I have pores and whatnot, and this does not accentuate it at all. And of course I go around the edges and buff. It just looks so natural and subtly glowy without it being reflective. It just looks skin-like. This beauty right here, I am obsessed with, and it's mainly the center blush, but I've used this so much. You see this pretty little hole? This is the NARS Overlust palette, and from what I gather, I think this is only available in maybe Australia? Mecca? I'm not sure. I was telling people, I was like, please let me know if you can find this anywhere. And I think that people have been able to find it at Mecca, but that's not here in the US. So I'm still gonna try and get my hands on another one of these. I know it might be a little silly just for this. I do use this one as well. I haven't hit pan, but I use this one quite a bit. This one I don't use as much, but this one just looks like a slightly altered bronzer. So it just gives you this bronzed perfection type of look, and I really like it. NARS has really improved their blush formula. I even really like Behave and Illicit from their new collection, but if I had to tell you which one I'm using the most, it's this one. And then I had to stop using this because it's out of stock, and I get comments left and right. When is this going to be back in stock? I love Wayne. I adore him. But does he tell me when things are coming out? No, I don't know when things are going to be restocked, or if he has a holiday brush. I don't know. This is Coral Rose. It is a highlighting and blush duo, and it is so good. This is what I would suggest any of these, but especially this one. Coral Rose is just, it's the perfect pink with just a hint of coral or peach in it without it being too much. And it's not similar to other things that I have in my collection. It's just that tad bit more pink than what I typically buy, but it looks so good on the skin. And then the highlight, let me just swatch this. Do you see this? This is blinding. Of course, you can definitely buff it out. I'm gonna show you this again because I just like to do it. And then take it, you blend it out, and do you see this? Look at that glow. That is a lit from within a glow. And then I don't know if I can get the, there you go, where you can see it right there. And they just pair together gorgeously, gorgeous. But I don't know. I do not know when this is going to be restocked, so I'm sorry. Highlights. I'm going to start off with the one that I have on right now, the one that I've basically just been using nonstop. Ever since I had decided that I wanted to wear something less obvious on my face. I pretty much haven't been putting this down. I just left and right picking this up, and I went ahead and bought a backup because I am going to hit pan on the center of this very soon. You're probably not going to be able to see on camera, but yeah, it's gonna happen. This is the YSL All Over Glow 3D. Is it 3D? 3D All Over Glow powder. And it just looks like a powder in the pan, but when you swatch it, can you see that little bit of a sheen? It's the perfect, not going to accentuate, it's just going to give you that lit from within glow. This is just everything that I have been wanting, but then if I want it to be a little bit, just a little bit more intense, but still natural and on the creamy side, La Mer. Let me just go ahead and take this off. I have been waiting to take this off because why? I don't know. I just wanted the top to stay pretty. This is the La Mer Glow Highlighter. It's a duo, but mainly I have been loving this right here. This is the cream. It's juicy. Do you see that? It's very, very faint. But when I apply this to my skin, it gives me a really gorgeous reflection. I think it's a little bit more than what I have on right now because it is a cream, but it's very natural. And then if you want to bump it up, you just go in with this side right here. And you see that? It's like a rosy gold highlight. They pair together beautifully. I've been using the cream more than anything else. Quick shout out to my buddy Drew because he got another one of these for me. Well, he let me know that it came in stock and I was like, thank you. I'll take that, please. Thank you. Overnight it. Okay. Two more highlighting palettes. Dior. If you want something intense, these next two palettes are for you. If you want something that's a little bit more special, I do think that the shades in here are special. Mainly this one right here. It is peachy pink and it's amazing. Let me swatch the peachy pink one. It's so pretty. And then the gold. And then we have, this one's softer. So this one is kind of like what I have on right now. It is going to give you that lit from within, not a super intense, but it's smooth. It's really, really smooth. These two are super intense. And then this one, I like to use further back on my cheeks to highlight my blush, just like a blush topper. So this one, I can use this entire palette all over my face and my eyes, get this monochromatic cohesive look, but very, very glowy. The Danessa Myricks Light Work palette, there's two different ones, the lighter one and the deeper one. This is the lighter one. If you want some really intense buttery highlights, look no further. You've got a really bright, intense white, like look at this. You've got champagne shades, and then you have these beautiful pinks. Well, I should have gotten the other one. This one has a slight, like, purpley undertone, but not in a bad way. These are so pretty. Let me get this purple one. It's not purple. It just has a slight undertone. Can you see? It's like a pinky, just a slight purple undertone to it. Then we have Complexion products. So this is going to be my concealers, powders, and foundations. The first foundation I want to talk about is from Estee Lauder, and it is the Futurist Hydra Rescue. Now this one is the shade 2-in-1, but I have to mix 2-in-1 and 3-in-1 to get my perfect match because I've lost my tan but not fully so I have to mix them. And this is so beautiful. It's very hydrating, but it's not going to slip around your face. It's glowy, but not too much. I just love the way that this looks. It's a medium coverage. I like medium coverage. This is just one of the ones that I would say last all day, while not all of them do. It's so beautiful on the skin. It's very natural. It's everything that I want in a daily wear foundation, and I have gone through several of them. Another one that's more on the natural side that I really like is from Makeup Forever. This is the Reboot. It brightens, smooths, firms, hydrates, and evens out skin. I don't know about all those claims. All I know is that I like the way that this looks on my skin. I especially love it with the Tatcha silk canvas underneath it. It's really, really pretty. And I have to mention this one because, well, technically I could also mention the Tom Ford version of this, but it's like $150 for that one or $45 for this one. I'm gonna go with the Estee Lauder. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Matte 24-Hour Foundation. Comes in a pump, which is so nice. When I first saw this, I was like, please don't be a doe foot. I don't particularly like the doe foot. I don't not like them. I won't not buy a foundation because of it, but I do prefer to just have a pump. This one, unfortunately, if I continuously wear it, will break me out, but it is one of the prettiest, if not the prettiest foundation. When I put it on, my skin looks flawless, absolutely amazing. It lasts on me all day. I don't find it to be a drying matte. It's more of a natural matte finish, and it's so pretty, but I have to be careful with it. That's why you don't see me wearing it often, is because it will break me out, but it's so pretty. It is so, so pretty. The Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer is still my ride or die. I have not found one that is knocking it out of its place. And what is it? Is it a year or a little over a year? I've just been stuck on that concealer. However, this one, this is from Hourglass. It is the Vanish, I don't know what it's called. It's the Vanish Concealer. I have two different shades. One is this one's a little yellow. It is the shade Sepia. So I have this one on for my eye primer today, and then I also have Pearl. This one is just a little bit darker than my natural skin tone. I do bronze everything up. This one's a little bit darker, but it's slightly more peach, so if I want to counteract any darkness and just cover everything up all in one swoop instead of going in with a corrector, this is what I will use. And the coverage of this is definitely more than what the Power Fabric is, but I like to use this when I want something that's just going to snatch my under eye and make my under eye look a little bit more flawless. Once again, my favorite powder has not been knocked out, and it's the 01 Iris-C from Sicily. But I'm going to tell you about two powders that have definitely been added to my routine. The first one is from Gucci. This is the Beauty Powder Matte Natural. I'm not sure. It's number 3 though. This I have been taking into my car, in my purse, and I like to buff around the mouth, especially while wearing masks and everything. I can just get a little bit of wear, and this applies a little bit of coverage, not too much. It melts into the skin nicely. It doesn't look powdery and dry. It's a really, really pretty powder. And then I have loved that By Terry has come out with a pressed version of their Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. This is the colorless pressed powder, and I love this. All of my wear is right in the center because I take my brush and then I just go right onto my pores and underneath my eyes. It just blurs everything out. You guys have seen me do that a million times, but I love to take a powder and do that. It just makes everything look a little brighter, a little smoother. And this being in a compact like this, it's just a little bit more convenient because I can, again, take this with me if I want to touch up. Like if I were to get oily during the summer, this is something that I would want to take because I would take a tissue, dab off, and then go in with this because it's not going to add any color or texture. It's very finely milled, and it being in a compact versus loose is so much better. For lips, I have a whole lot of nudes. I was sitting here trying to think of why I don't have more shades that I really love a bold lip. I really, really do. But I think that because I'm not leaving my house so much, that might have something to do with it, and the masks and everything. A nude is easier to just kind of dab off, put on your mask, and, you know, then reapply if you need to. But reds and whatnot, they're not the best. They're not the best for underneath the mask. So anywho, I have a bunch of nudes for my lips. The first one is actually a balm, and I cannot get this out of my head now because we were talking about my best friend, Kelsey Brianna J. Kelsey Brianna Bay, Dr. Bay. We were talking about her thumbnail, and it was the Tom Ford thumbnail, and Puffin said that it was in the thumbnail, she said it looked like a crusty finger. I said, excuse me, you do what? This is the Tom Ford Balm Frost, and he didn't see it in person. I mean, he has seen it. He was, oh yeah, I remember that. But beforehand, he said that the picture, it looked like a crusty finger. And then I went and got it. I said, it's this. It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty. It's not a crusty finger. This is the Tom Ford Balm Frost. It has a gorgeous, just like this and make it sparkle over and over and over again. The glitter is mainly only going to get on your lips whenever you first apply it, whenever it's fresh right here as well. If you can see, there's nothing on the tip now. It's just a clear gloss with a little bit of a sheen to it. So you'll see tiny little sparkles in there, but not like the outside of the packaging. And yes, I have backups of this as well. This is all the way up. I don't want to go through it. It's so pretty. The packaging, the presentation, everything, and the way it feels on the lips. Oh, it's so good. So good. I have bought this so many times now. I got it for my mom. Well, I actually handed the one that I had with me to my mom because she liked it so much. I ended up getting another one for somebody else, and then I have two myself. This is the Fenty Beauty Slip Shine in number 4, Makeout Break. I love balms. I love more sheer lipsticks, and I like the way that they kind of go together, like these, the slip shines. I would say it's a balm style lipstick, similar to the Dior Addict, the I don't know, the Dior ones. This is a perfect nude. I can wear it by itself. I can wear it with a liner. It feels nice and hydrating on my lips. It doesn't move around. It doesn't go in my fine lines or anything like that. Yes, I have lines around my lips. Not as much anymore now that I've gotten some filler, but yeah, I didn't have them whenever I got these. So there's that. Dominique Cosmetics. I think that these are so pretty. My favorite shade is definitely Pretty Natural. What are these called? It's just the Dominique Cosmetics lipsticks. I think they're, I don't remember. See, this is why I need the names on the actual packaging. Because I just see, it's just Pretty Natural. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to go with it. Look at this neutral goodness, and the formula is more of a satin matte, so it's not going to be drying. It's really, really, really pretty. And then this one is Sweet Nectar. I like to wear this one with a liner for sure. This one I can wear with or without, but this one I do need to wear a liner with them. But I really like this formula. I like that it doesn't dry out my lips. And I really like the colors. I do. I have the entire collection, but those two are definitely my most used. And again, Pretty Natural is the most used. Lastly, Lisa Eldridge, all of her lipsticks. All of them are amazing. Every single one. There has not been one that I have gotten that I'm like, I don't like you. Not in formula or in color, but this one, this is Muse, or Velvet Muse. In my opinion, this is the best matte you could ever get, in my personal opinion. The best matte. Let's see. Do you see that color? It's so pretty. It's like a pinky terracotta brown. It's so pretty. And then the liners, which I only have this one, but I'm just assuming that the rest of them are going to be good quality too. I think that's a fair assumption. This is the shade Muse. This is very long wearing, and look how great the match is. I love a matching lip liner. I don't love to have a very obvious line. Sometimes it does happen to me, sometimes it does, but I prefer to have a more blended appearance on the lips versus a definite line of lip liner. Maybe it's because I have to overline, I don't know, but that's just my preference. So I love that Lisa's match, but then also they last all day. They are very, very long wearing. Now, my other two favorites for the year, other than the ones that you guys see me use all the time, Nabla, they have made an amazing formula. They used to have the Velveteen. There's a red lantern I absolutely love. I think they're going to do away with those. The last time I saw it was on Beauty Bay or one of those sites. It wasn't on Nabla, but I really liked Red Lantern. And this formula is pretty, I think it's the same. I think maybe they just renamed them. I'm not sure. I just know that Red Lantern lasts really well, glides onto my lips really well, and so do these. I think there's 6 different nudes. This is nude number 1, and I spoke about this in my favorites for liners. Very long wearing. I love the color. And then this one from Wayne Goss. This is a kohl style, so it's not going to be absolutely budge proof like this one, but I really like this color. And I found that this is the closest dupe to the, what is it? The Rimmel number 49 that I like so much. This is the closest thing to it that you could possibly get that I have had in my collection. So no wonder I have gone through several of these. Lastly, we have everything else. So things that I didn't necessarily have a lot of one category, I just put everything at the end. The miscellaneous, if you will. The first thing I want to talk about is my new favorite setting spray. I'm obsessed, and I don't use that word lightly. This is my newest bottle. Where's my, this is the one that I have right now. So I wanted to show you a pretty one. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. The primer's really good as well, but I love the spray. This gives me a glow without it being oily. It truly makes my makeup last longer. Sometimes I don't see a difference with setting sprays, or they have alcohol in them. They'll dry out my skin. This one does not have alcohol. It definitely holds my makeup in place longer, and it's the perfect base for my highlight. I recently spoke about this in my updated routine for how I do my foundation, and I just pop this right along my cheekbones, put my highlight right on top. I sink in my powders with this, and it's just beautiful. It is a biface, so you have to shake it up before you use it. I was confused when I first saw it because I saw the green and then the blue. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, shake it up. This was a year for a lot of mascaras for me. There's so many that I tried that I really enjoyed, but I knocked it down to 4, and there's something that I want to say about this one right here. But let's just talk about my favorites. So the first one I want to say, I had my son write it on a Post-it note because I don't have it anymore. I thought I had purchased another one, but I either have gone through that one or I've lost it or I didn't purchase another one, but I have a feeling it's here somewhere. I just can't find it. Anywho, the Fenty Beauty Mascara, what is it called? I really need to be better at this. I really, really do. The Full Frontal, that's what it's called. I really like that mascara. I like the wand on it. It's different than any of the ones that I have in my collection, and it really adds quite a bit of volume, which I really, really love. And then another one that adds really great volume is the Dark Star from Pat McGrath. This has one of those hourglass, just a slight hourglass shape. I really like this, and I haven't had any troubles with this one drying out. The first one, Fetishize, which I really like as well, it dries out really quickly. The Dark Star doesn't, and I love that. This one, the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. I love tubing mascaras, but I've never found one for my top lashes that actually will let me build it up and have volume, definition, just everything. And this does. So if you're looking for a tubing mascara that's just going to be more delicate on your lashes, it comes off with warm water, this is my favorite for the top. Now on the bottom, I still use my MAC Extended Play. This I need to talk about. So it's from Tarte. It's the Tarte C Surfer Curl Mascara. I really like this. I have it on right now, but I have a major, major gripe. And I just thought this would be the perfect place to talk about it because I know you guys have seen this in my description box, but I have several of the miniature ones, which I went through all of those before opening my next bottle. I opened a bottle and it dried up in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So this is the newest one and it's already feeling like it's dried up. And so I'm like, did I get punked? You know, is it one of those situations where with the samples, I would swear that the sample lasts just as long as the full tube, which is not okay. So I don't know what is going on. I might have gotten punked, but I have to say, I've been using this for a while and I really like it, but I'm disappointed in the full size. So let me just put that out there. I have 2 products left. Oh my goodness. All right. Tatcha, yes ma'am, I love this. This is the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. Definitely one of the best primer, the best primer for the face that I have tried this year. It's so good. I find it to be a little bit more hydrating than the original, but they both last the same amount of time. You don't need much of this and you don't need much of that. One pump of this, one little pea size of, I'm pointing at my drawer like you know what I'm talking about. I have the Balm Silk Canvas in my drawer. So that's what I was pointing at. This is so incredible. It blurs everything, but not too much. It's not going to make you matte. It gives you a protective layer. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. I didn't think that I would like anything more than the balm, but I actually do. I like the liquid more than the balm. And then an eye primer. This is from Mario. And it is the Master Eye Prep and Set Palette, and I have the shade Light. I really like that he has 2 different color primers in here that you can use on your eyes as well as your face, and then this translucent powder to set. Now, I don't set my entire eye, but I love having it all in one because traditionally I would have to go in with, let's just say, this one. This is the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I also have my Anastasia in here, and now I have Viseart because I just opened that one. But I would have to go in with one of those. The Viseart is clear though. I tend to like ones that have tint to them. Then I would have to go in with my MAC Blanc Type to set right in the area that I want it to be set. So I would have to take 2 products. So it's nice to have a good powder, a good primer, all in one. It's nice and convenient and it actually does work. All right, beauties, that is it for my 2020 makeup beauty favorites. I can't believe it. We are finally at the end of the year. I'm ready for the new year. I know everybody is. Everybody is ready for the new year. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.